My name is Autumn Bannister, and for this assignment I chose to do the erosion lesson that I created in assignment 4.2 and turn it into my completed 5E lesson plan. I chose this lesson because it was already strongly aligned with the Arkansas Science Standards from the previous week, and I felt that erosion was a topic that students could easily connect with more hands-on learning experiences. It also gave students the opportunity to act like scientists by making their own observations, collecting their own evidence, and then testing their solutions with their group members, and then comparing those solutions. Throughout the lesson, students stayed engaged by watching 2 different erosion phenomenon videos, and then participating in hands-on group investigations, as well as small group discussions and whole group discussions, and then working together to design and test erosion preventative models and methods. Instead of just learning about erosion from a boring old textbook, like I myself learned about in school, they're actually getting to see it happen in real life and investigate it themselves, which I feel like is a lot more interesting. I included both formative and summative assessments throughout this lesson. The formative assessments are such as my observations, discussions that they had, their data sheets, and this kind of just helps me to check for student understanding as they're actively learning. The summative assessments give students the opportunity to compare different erosion preventative solutions and then use the evidence they found from their own investigations to support the conclusions that they make. I chose these assessments because they align directly with the lesson objective, but they also align with the performance expectations. One thing I focused on while revising this lesson was to make sure that my driving question and my essential question encourage students to use the evidence that they found during their investigations. This helps students to think more critically and support their own ideas by using the observations they made from the investigations instead of just relying on the feelings or the beliefs that they have. AI, specifically ChatGPT, was used primarily as a planning tool for this assignment. It kind of helped me to ensure that my learning objectives, my standards, my activities were all aligned, and then it helped to improve some of my wording in some of my sections. However, I still carefully reviewed all the modifications and suggestions made by AI because I wanted to ensure that I matched and met all the needs of all of my students. It served as a supporting tool, but the final decision and lesson designs were specifically my own. Overall, this lesson demonstrates how inquiry-based learning instruction can be engaging for students in very meaningful scientific ways. Students are actively investigating erosion, they're collecting their own evidence, comparing their solutions with their peers, and applying their understanding to real-world problems that they see outside their homes, within their school communities, or just overall rural communities. This process helps students to develop both scientific knowledge and critical thinking skills as well. Thank you for listening and watching my reflection video.